Well, friend, I want to just invite you to be a part of our magazine family. Prophecy in the News has done a magazine for a number of years. We have thousands of subscribers across the nation and some other parts of the world. This is available. A year subscription is $34.95, and the reason it's at that price is there is always a special bonus offer. And you can go to our website to see what the current one is. You call the 800 number on your screen and get the information over the phone. But by paying that, you get 12 editions mailed to your home, plus you get the special bonus offers. If you only want the magazine in an electronic format and no special offer, it's $24.95 a year. But we would love for you to be part of our family. The magazine always has very timely articles. These are by some favorite guests and authors that are a part of us. I always have an article. We have feature articles from the archives of J.R. Church and outstanding articles by Bob Carnuke on archaeology. Hope you'll join our magazine family. Welcome to Prophecy in the News. I'm your host, Dr. Kevin Clarkson, joined today by Pastor Billy Crone. Billy, it's good to have you.
That's good to be here. Thank you.
You're one of our favorite guests. I think you're informed of all things happening related to prophecy, and you're a pastor as well, not just a researcher, author. You really are in the front lines doing the Lord's work. You have a heart for souls, and I just really appreciate your ministry. So it's good to welcome you.
Yeah, well, again, thank you for having it. It's always a treat to be on.
Well, we're talking today about our technology and what could be the mark of the beast, what's known as RFID.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, referring to the radio frequency microchip implants.
Right. Yeah, exactly. RFID standing for radio frequency identification.
Right.
And it's a technology that's been around for a while now. After World War II, it began to really start to take off a little bit, but still in developmental stages. And then the 80s and 90s, it really began to turn into the form that we have to deal with today. But basically, it's a tiny microchip. Keyword, they're tiny.
Yep.
And this microchip has the ability, wonder of wonders, to not only store information and receive information, it could also be used for a tracking device, and it can make financial transactions. And it's being permeated around the culture, literally around the planet as we speak, and it has been for quite some years. In fact, what's really kind of fun with this documentary that we did on RFID is we were able to share some vintage clips. In fact, a ton of vintage clips.
Really?
Yeah, and that's what I was really excited about. May not be the extreme high quality of a lot of the information we share now, but it's on tape, and I think that's the value of it. It's on tape.
Well, who's in these clips?
Well, you're talking about people from Gillette. You're talking the major corporations. You're talking about the Auto ID Center. You're talking about basically all the movers and shakers of products in the global industry, because that's where it's initially started to make its headroads, RFID. And these guys admit, we got it on tape, right? And I've looked since then because we had them cataloged. Praise God for hard drives.
Yes.
We had them cataloged. And you can't find, at least I can't, and I research all the time, I can't find these interviews anywhere.
Ooh.
I think I know why. Is because when this first came out, and there was a big brouhaha about this probably about 10 years ago.
I remember.
Right? And what happened is these guys backed off and backed away because people were blowing the whistle on it. And then if you read some of the reports, they're basically saying, okay, let them have their little day, whatever, we'll bide our time, wait for the dust to settle, and we're just going to keep marching forward. And that's where they're at today. Now, since then, they've removed all this stuff because when they first came out, they were very bold, very brash of what their intentions were with this technology. And we've got those vintage videotapes. And they admit, basically, in a nutshell, they'll see it if you watch the documentary, that their plan is to use this RFID microchip technology, and they not only want to tag every single product on the whole planet. And you might think, well, there's no way they could ever do that. Logistically, it's impossible. No, it's not. They can now produce these things in mass by the millions and billions, and they're getting extremely inexpensive. They could fix them onto anything they want anywhere around the world.
Inexpensive.
Right. And so the technology has progressed even much more so than 10 years ago. So they want to not only mark and tag every single product on the planet, they want to do every single animal on the planet. They want to do trees. They want everything mapped on the planet, tagged and marked. And also, wonder of wonders, people.
Of course.
And what's interesting with this technology, I mentioned it was very tiny. Back in the day, one of the smallest ones at that time was made by Hitachi. It's called the Mu chip, M-U. And we share the video. And it is the size of half the size of a grain of sand. Is a tiny little microchip. And so if you embed that into a product or a person or an animal, have fun trying to find it. It's just incognito. You can't find it. But you have a device in you that can track you, that can be used to store and receive information like your ID and all the other things that you need. And but it also has the ability, again, to make a financial transaction, all in this one little microchip. And but it's not only small, but this technology, what's interesting is it's progressed to, back in the day, it was more of an external application. Some of the animal chipping that was being done with RFID, some of even the human chipping that was being done with the biochip devices. It's with a subdermal implant that people are already doing today, not only for medical reasons. It's RFID, it's this technology. They're using it for certainly tracking devices with government officials around the world. They're promoting it for children to be tracked, in case somebody tries to abduct them and things of that nature. But the interesting thing about this technology is it's so advanced now, you can print it. In fact, you can actually tattoo it now. RFID, you don't just have to have it in, it could be put on. And when I first came across that research, I thought, wow, that's pretty interesting. We in the church, sometimes we seem to major in the minors, minor in the majors.
Right.
And there's been this disagreement in the church on prophecy issues when it comes to the mark of the beast. And depending on the translation, people will go to town and they'll say, no, it says on the right hand or on the forehead. This says, no, it's in the right hand, it's in the forehead. If you understand this technology, it doesn't matter anymore.
And if you understand Greek, the preposition can mean in or on.
Yeah.
With or by.
Exactly.
It's the little word en.
Yeah.
So you can't really splice that fine.
Yeah.
It could be both, or.
Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting is that technology can now do that. In fact, one company, I'm not making this up, this is their name. They're called Somark, right? Somark. And what they do is they're taking this RFID technology, and again, it doesn't have to be some capsule that you put underneath anymore. That's been around for a while. It could actually be printed, literally tattooed. And they're using this on animals right now because there's a mandate out there that we talk about, the NACE mandate, National Animal Identification System, and they are forcing here in the West for every animal, every piece of livestock, chicken, cattle, everything, has to be tagged with an RFID tag. And
that to be? Do you have a date on when that's to be
well,
implemented?
they keep backing it up. The first initial date was basically it should have been in place by now. In fact, again, when I was recently in Canada, I talked to a cattle rancher up there just a couple weeks ago, and he's talking about, oh yeah, that's being put into place. And what they did is they, with all the meat scares, right, all the the bird flu, you got the chronic wasting disease with the deer and mad cow disease and all this stuff. And of course, once again, you create a crisis, you manage the outcome. What did everybody cry out for? Oh no, we need the government to have full traceability of our food. But how could that happen? Hey, here's a technology. And this is their term. They want to use this technology. It's not my term, it's theirs. It's called from the farm to the fork. And they want a microchip, and this is a mandate to keep us safe, is the excuse.
That's always the reason. It's always for your good. It's for your safety and security. Trust me.
Yeah. But see, this is no longer an option. The companies that make this technology, before it was just like more of a convenience for the farmer or the rancher. But now with this NACE mandate, it's just that. It's a mandate. And you have to have all your animals tracked and tagged because they want to be able to trace that animal literally from birth to slaughter, from the farm to the fork.
And just for our viewers, I'm assuming the tracking takes place through satellite technology.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as locations.
Yeah, exactly. And but it gives them that ability to trace them from the farm to the fork. And that one company I was telling you about, but what's been out for a while is they used to have the old tags in the cattle's ears, if you can write that. But now they have the RFID. You can do an implant, and that'll do it. But this company, back to that company, Somark, they could put it on outside. They could tattoo like a branding, but it's a microchip. It's an external microchip, a tattooing that's on the animal itself. Same technology. So again, this same technology it doesn't matter. It could do both. Again, it's not just storing, receiving information. It's not only a tracking device. You could use it for financial transaction. And that's where it gets really concerning, is because the same, and we got the vintage video clip. And this was from the Forbes News show. And he's being interviewed, this guy, at the time it was a company called Digital Angel. They've since changed their name because they were getting a lot of heat. But he is Kevin McGrath, the CEO at that time. He admits on tape, the girl's interviewing from Forbes, and she's talking about this rise of this technology and this mandate coming, and you got to tag every animal on the planet. And he said, yeah. He says basically it's going to be it's financial. It's going to be a boon to our industry. Hey, you might want to invest, because they're going to rake in the dough with a mandate. Every animal's got to be chipped. Are you kidding me? But then he admits, he says, but ultimately this is now beginning to go into people. And what he says is he wants to have the ability to have these scanners, not just outside, we can scan cattle and coming in, going out, and all this and other animals. We want them in hospitals. We want them everywhere. And so idealistically, that we could provide the same service to humans. Right?
Same
They could
security.
be, exactly, that they could be scanned because, hey, I mean, wouldn't it be horrible if you had some sort of medical condition and you didn't have your life alert bracelet on you or whatever, but if you had all your medical allergies and information on you and your chip and
How convenient.
but you were knocked unconscious, you can't speak, you can't tell them, hey, don't give me this, I'm allergic to that, or I'm diabetic and don't do this. But they could scan you. And he admits on tape that's where it's headed. It's going to people. So I thought, hey, put yourself in the Antichrist shoes. He's going to mandate this at one day, Revelation 13.
That's where I wanted to read.
Yeah.
Just to set our discussion straight out of the text. And, if you'll permit, these are some of the best known verses even by people that aren't really familiar with the Bible. They've all heard of the mark of the beast. Right. Let's couch the setting, though. It's chapter 13, and John sees a beast rising up out of the sea, whom I believe to be the Antichrist. And then there's a second beast that is his false prophet, the religious leader.
Right.
And then it says after he appears to rise again from the dead or to come back from the dead, and then an image is made that all the world will worship. It says in verse 16, this would be the false prophet actually, acting in behalf of the beast, causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And of course the famous verse here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Yeah.
Obviously, state the obvious, because I've learned we have to state the obvious a lot of times, or we just don't stay where we need to. This is about control.
Yeah.
And when you can control economically a person, when a man or woman can't get bread to stay alive, they get desperate. So you want to control their ability to buy and sell.
Right.
And make it global.
Yeah. And this is not, and what I try to reiterate is, this is not a technology that's coming. It's already here.
It is here.
And it's already, and has been for many years now, being implemented silently behind the scenes. I think that, again, after this first, this is why we're excited to get this out. And hopefully we get people equipped. Because, again, when they first came out, alarms went off. They bided their time.
Sleep.
Everybody went back to sleep. And they're going gangbusters.
They never give up.
Right. And, some of the things, if you're paying attention to the news, it's warming up. We've shared before, another study said we got people who are employees who are like, yeah, who cares about this micro? I mean, everybody loves tattoos nowadays, right?
Right.
Everybody likes these implants. Everybody's like, all the, right? So the next step is just get this biochip, right? And then that way you can have access to your building, you can have access to your car, access to your home, access to your workplace. There even, we had shared one video clip in the past with this company over in Europe, and everybody's getting the chip, and it helps them to get access to the copier. Oh, what's that? Oh, you can pay for your lunch at the office cafeteria.
How nice.
The same technology has the ability to track you, store information, and make financial transactions to buy and sell. And this is where, and this is what we expose on the documentary, of all places for this to go to, it's going in two major places right now. It's going to other arenas, and that is in the food industry and in the retail industry. Well, what's that? That's what we buy and sell, right? And it's being combined in just a global matrix. And what they envision is an era, and this is how they're selling it to people, an era of convenience. And again, for your safety. Like you can never dream. I mean, it's just going to be an electronic utopia, right? And they literally, again, they want to tag and track every single product, every single piece of food item, everything you could buy and sell, right? As well as yourself, into this seamless system. And one of the things that we share in one of the articles is here's how they envision your day in this coming RFID world. That you wake up and your stereo automatically goes off, with your alarm clock, and then it checks your automatic calendar, right? And on your calendar, the next day is your girlfriend's birthday. So the speakers announce to you, don't forget your girlfriend's birthday, but then throws an advertisement at you, and only the best roses can be bought at roses.com, right? And so you're getting ready for the day, and the next thing you know, your buddy's voice comes in over the speaker as well. They actually matched his voice on this commercial, because your buddy is reminding you that the car dealership that you visited yesterday of the car you initially were interested in but didn't make the purchase, don't forget that it's still available for you, etc., because they want you to buy that car. Well, then you get into your car and you're going to a baseball game. And this is all how they're saying, isn't this going to be a great world? So you get into your car and you're driving to the game, and all of a sudden your car computer announces to you over the speakers, the muffler has a leak, right? Because it's all computerized now. With all this microchip technology, it's fixed to everything, right? And then it actually searches stations around workshops, and then actually says, would you like to schedule with somebody tomorrow, XYZ, it's such and such, auto mechanic? And you say yes, and it automatically schedules your appointment. Well, you make it to the baseball game, and you get to the baseball game, and you're sitting in the nosebleed seats, and oh, by the way, when you went into the baseball game to the turnstile, you don't need to pull out cash, wallet. Absolutely. It automatically deducted from your bank account because you got a microchip in you too. And so you get into the nosebleed seats, and you notice after the game's been on for a while, the really good seats down there, nobody's sitting there. So you get up and you sneak down there, you get there, and of course nobody around you says anything because they know what apparently you forgot. And what you forgot was the seat automatically recognizes your presence, who you are in the database, and it automatically deducted the difference in the seat price in your account. Okay, so then you leave the game, right, and on the way home you stopped off at a convenience store, and you get to the convenience store and you put your Slurpee up there, but the guy on the cash register okay, they recognize you again in the database, even as you came in the doorway, and on the screen it tells the cashier guy, ask this guy, if he would like to get cheesy nacho potato chips. And so the guy says, oh, by the way, would you like to get some cheesy nacho potato chips? And you agree because it's your favorite kind.
Right.
So they purchase that. So then you get your cheesy nacho potato chips, your Slurpee, you get back and you get home. Now, as soon as you get home, okay, all of a sudden the door, the house system, speaker system, announces, would you like to order pizza in 3 hours? Because it knows that's typically when you eat, and that's typically what you like to eat. And you say, okay, sure, order it. And sure enough, 3 hours later, it comes up. So you're at home there, and you decide, oh, I got to get some laundry done. Well, you throw your laundry in, all of a sudden you push the start button, but it won't start. An alarm goes off, and it warns you that you put a red shirt in with your white laundry, which would obviously ruin the whole batch. Oh, and by the way, in case you say, well, hey, I'm a guy, who cares? I've done that before. You can't do it now because the washing machine, the smart machine, and this is all technology that's out there. This washing machine will actually shut itself off until you comply. Oh, by the way, you go into the kitchen there and you get an alarm. And it's an alarm from your trash. And the trash is warning you that you put a recyclable container in the non-recyclable regular trash bin. And it warns you that until you remove it and put it into the proper recyclable bin to avoid another fine from the government, who now is monitoring your trash. And that's all current technology, right? And so it just on and on and on and on it goes. And they envision, like, see, wouldn't that be great? Won't you let us do this and microchip the whole planet? Now, that's not only a creepy scenario, but that's really a viable option with this technology, and this is really what their plans are. And I tell people, it's like this. If you envision yourself, you're like in a laboratory, and you're a scientist, right? And you're studying a rat. You're studying a rat in the maze, right? The rat doesn't have the perspective. He's down there. And the rat doesn't go get its cheese. You give it its cheese. The rat doesn't clean up its mess. You clean up its mess. The rat doesn't do anything. He's just doing his thing, right? And it says, this is what they're developing us. They're treating us like caged rats. Yeah, you didn't have to go out to get that pizza. They brought the pizza to you. Yeah, you didn't have to make that appointment. They made it for you. But they built a cage. They're building an electronic cage about control, Revelation 13. And I've said for quite some time now, I'm not saying thus saith the Lord, but I believe that term there, buy and sell, when you understand the technology and the matrix that's being built, buy and sell is a loaded term. When the mark of the beast gets fully implemented during the 7-year tribulation, you will literally become a non-citizen. Mm-hmm. Certainly you won't be able to buy and sell. It says it right there. But man, it's everything. It encompasses your whole existence. You will be shut out.
You'll be a minion. Yeah. I, Pastor Billy, would like to just let our viewers know about your resource on this. You have a real interesting set called RFID.
Yeah.
Man's Greatest Invention or Mark of the Beast. And you've got, I believe, are there 12 studies in here?
There's 4 studies on 2 DVDs.
I'm sorry, 4 studies. I'm really loading it up for you. 4 studies on 2 DVDs. Lots of information, lots of, as you say, clips, and background and slides and things. We're selling this for $19.95 plus shipping and handling. You want to get more information on this, you can do it. Call the 800 number on your screen or go to the website prophecyinthenews.com and you can place that order. We would love to fill that for you. Let me just say that, like you said, we kind of went to sleep at the switch. The Real ID Act, I don't know if you addressed that in this series, but that really came up. And, riding high on 911 and our safety and security, an effort to track everybody, first with a card before they thought about putting it in the body.
Yeah.
But here in Oklahoma, which is where I live, we've resisted that because of the 10th Amendment states' rights. We've tried to stave that off, but I don't know how long that will be successful.
Yeah.
And with all the immigrants that are coming in, there are all kinds of ideas being proffered to, get everybody with an RFID chip so they can be tracked and followed.
Yeah.
And it's just a super highway to enslavement.
Well, and I think it's just phase one of the ultimate plan. The ultimate plan is going to get into people.
Exactly.
Back to the Forbes interview, the guy admitted that, okay, we're doing this with animals, and at first it was an option, but now it's a mandate. We're going to go to people next. And you're thinking, well, people aren't going to do this. Well, we're now with the Real ID. You guys are doing better than us in Nevada. Nevada, it's next year, 2016. Okay, and you have to have it, or you will not be able to get into a governmental facility, and you won't be able to board a plane. It's happening as we speak. And that you're thinking, well, it's just an enhanced well, what's in the driver's license? RFID. It's a microchip, right? And so to me, I think it's a logical step one. And so again, you could, for a while now, you could choose to get one. Now you're going to have one with ultimately the penalty at first. Have fun boarding a plane without it, and have fun with a government account. There's been talks about you won't be able to go into a banking institution, things of that nature. So you're going to start to be shut out of this system. So you're going to have to get this external RFID microchip in this external card. Well, I've said this is the perfect setup. If we roll over and play dead and allow that to take place, you know what the next logical step is. The Bible tells us where it's headed, not just with animals, but with people, right? Because we all know it's another create a crisis, manage the outcome, right? So if you roll over and play dead and says, okay, they forced me to get an external microchip in my card. Oh, by the way, they're doing it with credit cards now.
Exactly.
Visa,
The new
MasterCard.
credit cards coming out, they have this.
Yeah. I encourage the viewers right now, pull out your credit cards. Odds are you already got one, whether you want one or not.
You're no longer sliding it, you're putting it in with the thin end.
Yeah, but it'll have an icon on there. It'll have like a little electrical thing. But that's a microchip. You're getting a microchip in there whether you want it or not. Oh, what's that for? Buy and sell. Right? It's a tracking device, information, but buy and sell. But anyway, back with the Real ID, I think it's just step one of the ultimate goal because it's another crisis waiting to happen. Okay? Wait a second. We all know with all these cards, these external cards, yeah, they're electronic, but you could lose them. Right? Then what are you going to do? Somebody could steal them. Oh, great. Okay, so, hey, I know. I mean, we've been doing this for animals for a while, and it's safe. How about if we just take that same RFID microchip technology that you've been mandated to carry on the outside of you, and how about we just put it on the inside of you? You can't lose it, right? You can't steal it. And actually, it's kind of a creepy thing, but we've actually documented this as well. They, quote, can't steal it. You know what? Some of this RFID technology and biometric technology on some of the higher-end cars in other countries, you know what's actually happened? This is on record.
What?
It's with the fingerprint. Like, you can't unlock your car. You got to use your fingerprint. You know what thieves have done?
Oh, my.
Chop the people's hands off and just use their hand to get into it and steal it. So, but again, shh, don't think of that. You need to go ahead and just mandate this external one first. Later, let's create a crisis. Oh no, thieves, and you're losing it, and it's such a ruckus. And all right, just get. Oh, and by the way, if you don't like it in you, because if that kind of creeps you out, hey, the same technology be tattooed on you. Don't worry. And everybody loves tattoos, huh? And it'll be so convenient. It'll look cool, and you can scan yourself and pay for your goods and track and store information. It's all current technology. It's not coming. It's already here, and it's already being put in to place. And what's really concerning too is when another thing they're talking about, you talk about control. They want to control what you buy and sell, not just clothes, food. And this is concerning if you put, and we document this, in the food industry, because they want to be able to, here's your shopping experience. Everything's tagged. You're tagged, you pay with this RFID chip, the whole 9 yards. Every product in the store is tagged, every food item, everything. Well, and your shopping cart reads all that information. So you don't have to pull your wallet out. It just scans the shopping cart when you go through. It's automatically deducted. But As you're putting items into the cart, they already have you in a database. They know your medical records. They know everything, right? And so what they want to do, at first, it's convenience. You put in some cake mix, and then so the computer on the console on your shopping cart goes, don't forget your eggs. Oh, by the way, the eggs are over here. They show you a map. And we actually document it. And this is their vintage clips of the future store that they're building for us. But it gets worse than that. Let's say you put in the shopping cart some red meat. All of a sudden, an alarm goes off and says, excuse me, according to your health records, the doctor is saying that you don't need this. You don't need this. This is really what's coming. In fact,
fish are on aisle 7.
Absolutely. And they will begin to dictate. Now, if you don't comply, you either won't get to buy or sell, period, or they send an alert to your employer. And basically, it's already happening. We document this. There's people who are being fired right now in the United States of America who are being fired because they're not going along with health incentives. Because we all know it costs the company money, and
Indeed.
you need to comply.
Indeed.
You have to do it. And so this technology will give them the ability to make sure that you don't eat unhealthy. Total control. Is what's being built into this system. And again, it's not coming. It's already here.
Technology is here.
And aren't you glad, of course I'm being sarcastic, that the government took over the healthcare system?
Oh, it's wonderful.
And you don't think that the government wouldn't like to combine this technology to now not only control our healthcare, but control what we buy and sell, even what we eat, for the good of the healthcare system, which we know costs too much money.
And of course, the umbrella of healthcare literally will touch every aspect of our life.
Exactly. That's
and
the beginning.
where it's all headed.
It's Pandora's box.
Well, we're talking with Pastor Billy Crone and talking about the technology known as RFID that really lends itself to being the fulfillment of the mark of the beast in Revelation chapter 13. Usually when we approach this subject, and you know this, Pastor, a lot of people get terrified because it says later in Revelation that whoever receives this mark can not enter heaven at all. You know, they're going to be forever judged. And so terror grips people, and I would share with you, really, you already have the mark of Satan if you don't know Christ. You really do. You're already marked for destruction. The Bible says, he that believes not is condemned already. So really, there's nothing you need to do to try to go to eternal punishment. You're headed there. What you do need to do is escape and flee from the wrath to come, the Bible says, by coming to Christ, because he died on the cross to pay for your sins and rose from the dead to give you new life. And according to our understanding of Scripture and prophecy, if you receive Christ now, you'll miss this whole scenario because we'll be caught up and lifted out of here in the rapture. If, however, you want to wait until this time begins, you'll have a choice to refuse this mark and probably be martyred for your faith, or go along and end up eternally destroyed. Keep looking up.